to you around the peninsula. I'm Army Staff Sergeant Sunshine Garcia Bibian. While every airman wears the same uniform, they each have their own unique talents. Senior Airman Ariel Tomlinson introduces one staff sergeant with an artistic hobby.
There are many words that can be used to describe Staff Sergeant Scott Trombley, airman, supervisor, and aircraft structural maintenance craftsman.
Kind of fell into it. I joined as an open mechanical, and actually when I picked my list, it wasn't even offered on there. Made my choices, and they came back and said, "You're working sheet metal. Congratulations." So I was kind of surprised by it, but it's definitely been a great job.
But in his off-duty time, he is known as a photographer.
1, 2, 3. I started to follow a couple friends who were involved in photography, and then I started to work with a couple of them as a model here and there. I saw all the cool things that they were doing and the results they were getting. I thought, hey, this is something I might enjoy as well. I'm a creative person by nature. I like making things, especially with work, how I've done with making the parts for the aircraft. It kind of translated over to creating these photographs, so I was drawn into it right from the beginning. I've got a couple photos out. One of them just got put into a magazine. Some are on an online magazine. So I've definitely got a couple things out there already. When you can produce something for someone that they might not even thought was possible or beyond their expectations, and you can see that look on their face or hear them just be thankful for the opportunity, the moment, the results, it's definitely memorable. I look at photography as something that I will probably do for the rest of my life now.
Senior Airman Ariel Tomlinson, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
Staff Sergeant Trombley plans to further his military career and continue taking photos along the way. For an organization that's been around for decades, helping military families celebrating a birthday doesn't seem like a big deal. Senior Airman Emma Mahan shows us why it's important to take a quick moment to recognize each year of success.
Army Community Services, or ACS, is a program that's Army-wide, geared towards helping military members wherever they may be stationed, and they recently celebrated a milestone.
51 years of successful helping people, helping Army families, helping soldiers. I think it shows pride, it shows awareness about where you came from.
Through many programs and resources, the staff of Humphreys ACS are ready more than ever to better the lives of their community members, even if it's just with a sweet treat. Senior Airman Emma Mahan, U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys, Korea.
Contact your local ACS to find out about all their programs and services. In a time where engineers are always needed, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers works with universities in the states to keep the mission of the military going. Air Force Staff Sergeant Darren Murphy takes us to U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys, where interns are forging their own way into the Corps of Engineers.
The Far East District hosts interns to work with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys with the Advancing Minorities Interest in Engineering program, or AMI.
Well, in high school, I was strong in math and science, and I'm like, okay, I definitely want to get a career in the STEM field, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So I said, engineering, there's not many women in engineering, and there's also not many minorities, so I said this will be a great fit for me.
The AMI program not only gives interns a chance to gain experience with hands-on training, it allows them to find where they fit in the engineering field.
I wanted to do industrial engineering because I was originally a business major, and industrial system engineering has that business aspect that I like.
Air Force Staff Sergeant Darren Murphy, U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys, Korea.
The AMI intern program is in its 15th year. You don't always need a reason to start a celebration with friends. Sergeant Mark Breha goes to Daegu Dario Park, where the city is celebrating something rather simple: chicken and beer.
Chicken and beer. Not two things together you'd really focus a party around, but it's those two things that's bringing people from all over Korea to Daegu. Now partner that with a festival and an assortment of musical performances, and you got the 2016 Daegu Chimik, or Chicken and Beer, Festival. Over 90 companies manning over 220 booths will be here at the Chimik Festival selling chicken and beer. Last year, the festival saw 880,000 visitors. This year, they're expecting nearly 1 million to enjoy its food and events. Some have visited the festival in years past, but for others, it's their first experience with the unique celebration.
Growing up, that's all I used to eat, just chicken, chicken, chicken. So when I heard about a chicken and beer festival, I'm like, I'm game, let's go. I'm like in heaven, chicken heaven.
Not only does the festival boast a range of Korean celebrities, but it also hosts a special appearance by Mark Lippert, the U.S. ambassador to Korea. He speaks to the crowd, thanking them for the invitation. He also stops by the U.S. Embassy booth and hands out chicken to festival goers. Reporting from Daegu, Korea, I'm Army Sergeant Mark Breha.
The annual festival is still young at heart, having started in 2013. The U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys' transformation into the largest overseas military installation continues. But as Master Sergeant Harry Kibbe says, this time it's the population that's expanding, with a historic unit now calling the garrison home.
Soldiers from the 2nd Battalion, 8th Cavalry Regiment, otherwise known as the Stallions, are among the first U.S. forces to relocate from the demilitarized zone to U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys as part of the agreement to move all U.S. forces south of the Han River. It's a welcome move for a number of reasons, according to Major General Ted Martin, commander of the 2nd Infantry Division.
Although we love our new facilities, we're even more excited to be moving to Pyeongtaek and to make new friends and neighbors. We are bringing with us a rich tradition of partnership and friendship, and we look forward to forging new and strong ties with our partners in the surrounding community.
The unit will proudly serve as a vanguard for the forces that will come to call U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys home in the years to come. Air Force Master Sergeant Harry Kibbe, U.S. Army Garrison Humphreys, Korea.
When the transformation project is complete, it will make the installation roughly the size of Washington, D.C., adding a projected $10.7 billion of value to the garrison. With a smartphone and some headphones, we can enjoy our favorite music wherever we are. But have you ever considered it might damage your hearing? It's important to know how loud we listen to music before it's too late.
It's always nice to listen to music on headphones, but if others can hear what you're listening to, you might want to turn the volume down.
Hearing's one of our critical senses, and we need to do everything we can to preserve it, because once we lose it, it is permanent. There's nothing we can do to restore that good hearing that we once had.
The question is, what can we do to protect ourselves from hearing loss while enjoying our favorite music on headphones?
It's almost turned all the way up, but just loud enough where I can't hear no one around me if I'm like by myself. But if I'm out on the street or something, then I have it to where I can hear like a car honk or something.
Being aware of the volume level is the first step to prevent hearing loss.
We can look at the scale to determine how long they can listen to it before they're causing permanent damage. For example, at 94 decibels, someone can listen to that loudness for about an hour before we've reached the maximum exposure before hearing loss can begin.
Specialist Elizabeth Harris, Yongsan, Korea.
The volume levels are measured in decibels, and it decides how long they can listen before the damage occurs. That was your Around the Peninsula for this week. To see these stories and others, go to AFN Pacific website or view them through the AFN Pacific app. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.
Fever, rash, joint pain, and red eyes are all symptoms caused by the Zika virus disease.
The Zika virus is contracted by those who are exposed to the mosquitoes that contain the Zika virus. These mosquitoes are found mostly in the tropical regions. Brazil is the area that we see it mostly, but we also see it in Central America and northern part of South America. There's also areas in the Pacific that have the Zika virus. So if you're stung by a mosquito that contains the Zika virus, then there's a good chance you may contract the disease.
The disease may not have serious consequences for adults, but it may be fatal for unborn babies. If a pregnant woman is bit by a mosquito carrying the Zika virus, it can be passed on to the fetus and possibly lead to birth defects such as microcephaly, which is where the baby is born with a small head and brain defects. The best way to prevent the infection is by not getting bit by mosquitoes. When outdoors, use insect repellents, wear long sleeves, and soldiers who are in the field should wear specially treated uniforms. Army Sergeant Ryan Sharp, Seoul, Korea.